love you guys.
Dance off, bro. I have the high ground.
Expecto Patronum!
39 days, 20 people, 1 survivor.
On the Tribe of Nerds. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds Reality After Show, episode number 6. Kevin and I are back to talk about Agatha All Along this week, which is the most recently finished Marvel Disney Plus show. So,
okay,
yeah.
I look a little crazy right now because I earlier today did the Savage Race. I took my niece, who just turned 14, took her, and I had to rush home to do this because I love this show. I love it so much. It's so good. Episode 7.
Yeah.
I love, I've realized I like Memento and Inception and Tenet, like that kind of out of order storytelling.
Yeah.
So episode 7, the greatest thing I've ever seen on Disney Plus. It was so good.
Yeah.
I love this show. I loved it.
Yeah, I'll say with episode 7, that was very much one of the best episodes of an MCU Disney Plus show. It was very good. I kept looking at my mom and when we were watching it, after Survivor that night, and just being what is this going for? And then as soon as it kept going and actually everything was getting revealed and it was telling the story, and we're like, this is incredible.
It was done so well.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
When I said this was I wish they did this for Moon Knight. I wish what they did with Moon Knight is they went back and told what happened with some of the violent fights that Moon Knight would get into, and what they skipped over.
Where was that? See, that show should have been 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
Or 3 more episodes, and they should have done that, and it would have been so good.
Yeah. Instead, they did a giant CGI kaiju fight.
So. I mean, I did what was her name with her little golden wing costume?
Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah, I did like her. So that was
I did like her as well.
I wouldn't mind her showing back up in a season 2, but this show was so good. And to be clear, I thought this was going to be trash. I was why are they even making this? This is stupid. It went through all the name changes, and then it landed on Agatha All Along because that was the line from the song. And I was like, you didn't plan that on purpose. You changed the name so many times, and then you thought it would be clever. I had no faith in the show whatsoever. And it turned out to be my favorite thing.
Yeah.
That Marvel has done, at least for TV, probably ever. Maybe WandaVision. I like Loki, but this is better than Loki for me.
Yeah, so I have this as 5th. I released my rankings of the MCU Disney Plus shows, and this is below just that first year, and that includes Loki season 2 with season 1. But it's still in that top 5. I think it's it's a great show. I still like the storytelling. I have a couple minor gripes specifically with the finale. But I understand where they were going. It wasn't a case.
I don't even have the gripes of the finale.
It wasn't even a case of past MCU finales where it just, for me, it didn't completely fall flat like past finales have done. So
yes, there are some the finale of WandaVision was a letdown.
Yes, yeah, that one was a letdown. Sure.
The rest of the show was so good, and then that was just kind of flying laser shooting, which okay, cool.
Yeah. Ralph Boner, which I mean, at least
Ralph Boner, such a waste.
At least he came back, I guess, but
he came back and in a way that was silly, but seemed consistent with that character.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'll say. It was a good way to not I guess not change that for the sake of the fan complaints. Like they still went with what their original plan was for him. So I mean, I was very happy to see Evan Peters come back again. So
I mean, yeah, he's Evan Peters.
yeah.
But he was just so good. And like when Wiccan came down.
Yes, that episode 8 was also really good. I was wowed by that. That was the longest episode of the season. And as soon as Agatha looks up and you see Billy / Wiccan come down in the outfit, I'm like, I love these suit up moments.
And let's take a moment to also appreciate what that therefore means. What him coming down, him giving her the power, and he's like, don't take it all. And then she doesn't, which means she did take all of Alice's on purpose. That wasn't accidental.
Yes.
So that's like, like you really are still bad, Agatha. But like,
yeah. Well, and that's something I appreciate is that they did not try to redeem Agatha. She is a villain. She is stealing everybody's power. Her whole plan was to trick all these witches, like she's always done, trick them thinking this road is real, and just murdering them and stealing their powers.
When little baby Nicholas Scratch started singing "Down the Winding Road," I was like,
that's where she got it. Yeah.
And like the reveal that she'd been doing this for centuries of just like it started off with her using him as bait as a baby, right? Because he's just a baby and she needs help,
right?
And her taking their powers that way. But then like that she ended up like, that's why she was always so guilty about it too. Like she took his like innocent little song and turned that into like her being this monstrosity of a villain, and like how he saw that happening, he didn't like it, and like she didn't change. Like
it's so good.
Good.
I love Catherine
No business
Hahn.
being this good. No business being this good. Agatha all along is this good?
Yeah,
Agatha all along.
I loved Catherine Hahn in WandaVision, though. I loved her in that. So, like, I was like, okay, this might not be as good, but at least Catherine Hahn will still probably be fun. And then, yeah, it was way better than we expected it to be. So,
and like, there were so many times too. Like, they really could have messed up the ending too. Like, they really could have messed it up badly. But like, we had kind of started to catch on that like Billy teen seems to be in a lot of control of what's happening on the road. Like it's exactly like his imagination, and like he's always the one finding things, and like those sorts of things. And then like it was all him, but then also like Agatha saying things like, because like the reveal that like it was all him, cool, but then the reveal that like Agatha knew that there was no witch's road, and so when it appeared she knew that it was him, right? Like and she knew the whole time. Like when she's saying like this all wouldn't be so dramatic, she's specifically talking about like another like Wanda's son's like hallucination. Like
I didn't expect it until like the pieces started coming together in episode 8, and then I'm like, oh my God, this actually all makes sense, because, you know, we haven't heard like any inkling of like this stuff in the MCU before. Like, how is this actually going to make sense and fit in? And when that reveal happened, I'm like, this fits in perfectly.
Exactly.
So,
and like, how was she the only witch who ever survived the witch's road? Because there was no witch's road.
Right. Right. And then like, even like Alice's mom, like her dying was like her band on the road, and then she got lured by Agatha and killed. Yeah, like that was just a song that the band wrote, but because Agatha tricked them. So
right, and it was so good too. Like as a teacher too, I talk about like fables and like passed down stories all the time, and like this was such a great example too of like this just started as like a kid and his mom singing. And it grew into like this thing that's now like within this world, within this universe, is like a like pop phenomenon, right? Like, like there's different versions of the song, like So I just loved it. I've already gone back to rewatch episode 7. I don't rewatch anything unless I like really want to. Like because I remember it, so I'm like, okay, well, I don't need to rewatch. And I went back like within the week and was like, nope, watching that again because that was so good.
I'll need to go back and rewatch from the beginning, knowing now this like from the final 2 episodes of like what this all means, because I need to catch like even how Catherine Hahn acts as Agatha when she realizes that it was Billy and like the him creating the road and everything. I need to pick that up going through because I'm sure it was all there from the beginning. So yeah.
I just loved it. I just loved it.
Yeah, I want to get through like my minor gripes of the finale. Like they're not like a deal breaker for this show entirely, but I was just like it's stuff that I didn't expect. Like so when episode 8 ended and Agatha dies, I'm like, okay, so what is the finale going to be about? Like my mom, dad, and I had no idea what to expect going into this finale. We get in the finale and it's a flashback. I'm like, this is completely different for an MCU show to put their exposition or their flashback scenes in the finale episode. So I was very intrigued and like a little bit confused, but as it went, like, oh my God, this is really, really interesting. And it's the pieces are finally coming together. And then the end of episode 8, where Billy screams and like we're like, okay, I knew it sounded like Catherine Hahn's voice, but I didn't know when it got to the middle of episode 9 and she's a ghost. I did not expect that at all.
The one thing that I didn't think was great was like her hair and look as a ghost. Like that gray wig that's a choice.
Yeah.
And you all made the rest of the show so good, and you put her in that wig, you put her in that costume, but whatever. Like, fix it in the future project. She's a ghost. She can wear whatever she wants. She can make her hair look however she wants.
Yeah, I think it was because that's like a comic thing of like Agatha's...
I know that in the comics she's been a ghost.
Yeah, so I think it was a thing, and she has gray hair in the comics, so they're going completely off of that. So it's not through
bad wig.
Yeah, it was a bad wig, but it was just like also just a very intriguing decision. I really wasn't sure what to think of it. And then it's kind of like then leaving it so open-ended of like they're gonna go find Tommy, which understandable. I understand why you would end it that way because that's been kind of what the last few episodes have been about of knowing that he needs to find Tommy, and like episode 8 set up that he thinks like he made it so that Tommy entered a boy that just drowned.
That was like it's heartbreaking because he's talking about like this kid is getting bullied.
Yeah.
And like, and the kid's about to drown and like he has no one. And it was like just so sad. Just so sad. But like
I've felt that way
so
before.
Well done. Right?
Yeah. So
I'm like that kid's going to be a superhero now and he's going to get to punch the shit out of those bullies.
Yeah. It's going to be nice. Yeah. Super speed. Yeah. So yeah. But like I don't like that we have so much open-ended stuff in the MCU now. It didn't like we had the couple things from the Infinity Saga that we thought eventually would get wrapped up. They still really haven't. So that would be like Mordo and Doctor Strange and Scorpion at Homecoming. It keeps coming back to those two things that are probably never going to get wrapped up at this point. But like Phase 4 and 5 have literally left so much open-ended stuff that is probably never all going to get solved by Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like that's what makes me nervous. We're not going to see all like 100 of these characters that we've been introduced to.
No, clearly not.
So
they seem to be doing a Young Avengers thing, right? Because they have Wiccan, they have Ms. Marvel, they have Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
Yeah,
they have Ant-Man's daughter, who's
Cassie.
Stature. They're probably going to replace him because I think the actor, something happened to the actor. But they have the young Captain America because he was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
Yeah,
So like,
Eli Bradley, yeah.
yeah, so they have a lot of these characters like around. Um, I mean, $5 says Cassie doesn't make the cut because that movie was terrible. But
Yeah, probably not because they already got rid of Ken. So like, I mean, that was for other reasons partially, but I
right,
also think I've heard part of it was also because Quantumania flopped very badly. So
right. So, but yeah, a lot of those characters are there. So I would imagine we're not going to see a lot of those characters in Doomsday or Secret Wars because like it's going to be the still living like Avengers characters. And I mean, I know I've mentioned this to you before. Like I really like Shang-Chi. Like I thought it was a
I do
good
too.
movie. I like the
Yeah.
character. Like I have the Lego set and I have like set him and his dad up so that they're fighting and like they're shooting the rings at each other like they were in the movie. Like it was great. But
Yeah.
I know Simu Liu has like
Mhm.
made public comments and like props to him because I agree with him, but like has made public comments that have upset the Chinese government. And so his movies don't get released in China. So I'm not sure what they're going to do because they're going to want to release these movies in China.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I don't know what we're gonna get with Shang-Chi. I would like him to be on the team. I liked his rings. I think they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and they set up what that like him and Katie are part of the Avengers, and like the rings are like a beacon to
Give me more Aquafina.
something.
Give me more Aquafina. She's great.
I actually did like Katie. Like I know there's people like annoyed by Aquafina. I don't. So
I'm only sad that it took them so long to get to the X-Men that Aquafina aged out of the Jubilee role because
yeah.
that would have been amazing. That would have been great.
Yeah, she would have been great there. Yeah, but it's just like I don't know. I'm just like and so that brings me to the news that just came out after the finale ended that I just shared with you and our Tribe of Nerds chat. And they basically said the writer, head writer and director of Agatha All Along, who also is head writer for WandaVision, she
Jack Schaefer.
yeah, Jack
Give
Schaefer.
her the keys to Marvel. She's amazing.
Yeah, well, so Jack Schaefer was basically like she had post-credit scenes written for like the last episode, and Marvel kept rejecting all of them, which means I guess Marvel and Kevin Feige must have some sort of plan for certain things, or maybe they're just throwing certain things away. I don't know.
I also wonder too if like they're starting to clamp down on end credit things, post credit things.
Yeah.
Just because we are left with now like what happened to Scorpion?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like what's gonna happen with Doctor Strange and Clea? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're left with a lot of open doors, and so I wonder too if they're like no, like no open doors right now. Doesn't matter how good it is. Doesn't matter how good the idea is. No.
Yeah, they're trying to reduce what we are having the problem with, what we're discussing right now, because like they realize it's a problem. Kevin Feige realizes it's a problem that they've set up or teased way too much in the last couple of years, especially.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know what you're saying about leaving doors open, like too many like unanswered questions. I think in general, Phase 4 didn't really know what to do, so we got a lot of meh movies, and like it was Marvel's thing to have post-credit scenes.
Yeah.
So we got meh movies with post-credit scenes that like do we want Harry Styles to come back?
No, I probably not. I'm only
the only Eternals that I'm interested in are Angelina Jolie and Makari.
Yeah.
The speedster, because she was cool. And Angelina Jolie was cool, but the rest of them, I like Kumail Nanjiani. He's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could give him something to do. They literally just had him walk away for the finale. He just wasn't there because they had too many characters.
Yeah,
that movie was terrible.
I do really like Kingo, and then that disappointed me. I remember talking with Will at the time. I'm like, the fact that we just had Kingo just walk away after being like Kumail Nanjiani making him a really likable character because that's just Kumail Nanjiani. So
right. I mean, we are getting the like the Black Widow characters because we're getting Taskmaster, we're getting Yelena, we're getting them in Thunderbolts, which I'm not super thrilled about, but whatever. I'll watch it.
Yeah, those Yelena, Red Guardian, and Taskmaster, like I don't know. I guess the one I'm most excited for on that team is actually US Agent. I'm most interested in him. I was intrigued by him in Falcon Winter Soldier. Ghost might be also be really interesting. And
I'm
then,
interested in Ghost because she's the one like just like super powered, Captain America type. I have a cat on the table. He might make an appearance.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, so we are going to get those characters. I do think some of them are going to die. Red Guardian's probably going to die. Taskmaster's probably going to die, and that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Leave us with Bucky and Yelena.
Yeah, Bucky will be interesting as well, where they're going with his character. Because it seems like they took stuff off of his like Donald Trump biopic that he did or whatever recently, The Apprentice or whatever.
Oh, I didn't even watch that.
I didn't either, but I know like I feel like the look that they went for in the movie is because he just came off of The Apprentice a little bit, and they're kind of going a route with him that
interesting.
I mean, he's got the long hair back. Looks like Bucky's like sort of like going into politician stuff and Thunderbolts, so that's why I'm bringing that up. But anyway, not to get political, I'm bringing that up as far as movies go. But yeah, so let's talk about, I guess, other performances in this show. I mean, we can't talk about episode 7 without mentioning Patti LuPone as Lilia.
Lilia.
Yeah, she was fantastic. How they set up this character
She was so good. They set her up as being kind of kooky. And they even say at one point, are you feeling koopy or wispy? But that comes back up in this episode.
Yes.
She's so good. She like when she closes the door and says, I love being a witch. It's like, it's heartbreaking. Like, and that's like such a ridiculous phrase on its own.
Yeah.
But like within the moment of that, TV show, you're like, no, Lilia. Like, and like her like sitting down across the table and like telling her story was also heartbreaking of like it's been centuries and like I just had to like turn this off. Like she did it so well. And when she turned around, she's like, no, I'm the traveler. I was like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I like putting all the cards down and like them all making sense for the characters when they're put down, and like the Tower Reverse, which was literally the card that she gave Billy. It's also like kind of a metaphor for Wanda as well, because the tower crushing Wanda. So, and Multiverse of Madness. So it's very, very good. She was the star of episode 7 as she should be.
It's so good. And like I said, I like the non-linear storytelling, but she sold it, and like her being confused at the right times, and like it worked so perfectly for me. I loved it. She sold it so well. I give her an award. I don't know what award you get awards for like supporting characters, right? It's an award show. Give her whatever, like
best supporting actress. Yeah, at the Emmys. Yeah,
it was so good.
She was very good. Probably my favorite of the Coven. I mean, I love Deborah Jo Rupp though as well, but I feel so bad for Sharon that she got roped in as just being a random citizen, and like Agatha just does not care. She's cool with just.
And that's another thing. So when Agatha got the list from Lilia had put the sigil on Billy. So when she wrote the list, she made a black heart, which
so that's Mrs. Hart.
So Agatha used that to be Mrs. Hart. We all thought at the time Black Heart meant Rio.
Yes.
And we were like, Agatha, you're not going to trick us. But actually, Black Heart was Billy because she couldn't write Billy's name down because of the sigil.
Yes. Yeah, it was very, very, very good. Yes, I
Like that is what that to me is writing that's so good that like we know so many times, especially in Phase 4, Marvel chopped things up to bits. We know Ms. Marvel got chopped up to bits. We know Thor, Thor Love and Thunder, they filmed like 7 hours of material, so they had to cut that up and leave it on the like. We know they do this. You couldn't do that with this show. It was written in such a way that like you had to tell it in the right order, and they did.
right, right. Yeah, yeah. It was so good. Yeah, I really appreciated it.
And like her dying was also like because she took 2 things of the
Of the
wine,
wine,
of
yeah.
the poison. She took 2, which there should have been another glass. Like there was another glass. That's why she had 2 and Billy had none.
Right,
Because
because
she
he's
had Billy's glass.
and he's
Because he was
underage.
underage, but like
Yeah.
so she drank his glass, so she only got 1 dose of the antidote, so she died.
Yes.
So like
yeah, yeah. It's so good. And yeah, like Agatha throughout the rest of the season just literally does not care that Sharon died. She's like,
she forgets Sharon's real name.
yeah, yeah. Well, and she literally does when she did the impression in what was it, episode 5, when she does
Yes.
that was hilarious.
Oh my. What a journey. There I was, living my tiny life in the burbs, baking casseroles, linking into conspiracy theories on Facebook, drinking before noon.
Like when
That
she
was really
pretends
funny.
that she's possessed, which Agatha must have been pretending she was possessed even when she was like doing the going through the exorcism. Like that was just a whole charade so that she could get Alice's power, which a charade. Sorry, I said
That was
don't
very
know.
sophisticated. That was very theater type of pronunciation.
Apparently.
I don't know if she was pretending to be possessed because that's not really her like because we saw in episode 9 her power is more like shooting thing, right? Like
Yeah.
blasting things. So I do think she could have been being possessed by her mom because her mom was also like
Well, that's true. Yes.
so that could have been what was happening. But like I said, we did find out Agatha can turn it off, and she didn't turn it off for Alice. So she did kill Alice.
Yeah,
But like
she was meaning to kill Alice, so like
right. That's how she had to get her purple back.
yeah. Yeah.
It's Jonny Fairplay, reality TV icon, Survivor Hall of Famer, and I'm talking today about Work Money. Work Money is a non-profit organization that focuses on lowering costs and raising incomes for all Americans to make American life more affordable and American families more economically secure. They provide products, services, perks, benefits, tips, and tools to help members improve their financial lives. It's time to level up and make more money in this economy. We're talking getting rich. Now, this sweepstakes is giving away $50,000. You can use this to pay your rent, your mortgage. Imagine what you can do with all the money that you'll save. Now, this is put on by Work Money, and this site has all these sick benefits, and it's free. Go sign up right now and get more rich. Now, listen, you can change your life. Now, what would you do if you didn't have to pay your rent or mortgage for a year? Listen, sign up right now for free. Link is available right here in the show notes. Check them out. Personally, I'd get more pinball machines. I'm Jonny Fairplay. I wouldn't lie about that. It's Work Money. More money.
We should definitely talk about Jennifer
Kale.
Yeah, Jennifer Kale, yeah. I was gonna say Aubrey Plaza as well, but we can get to her after.
Oh, we'll get to Rio.
Yeah.
We'll get to Rio.
Yeah.
No, Jennifer Kale.
Yes.
Sashir Zamata, I think.
Mhm.
She was great. I first of all, I love that Agatha was like, well, you're one up because I would have killed her too, and she lived, so you saved one.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do like that she kind of just like went off Because I don't need her to be with Billy for the next thing, but the idea that like I've heard that there's a team in the comics that's like her and Moon Knight and maybe Daredevil. Like there's some people, like there's a group that like are characters who are in the MCU that like could exist. So like I don't need them right now, but they could. And she was when first of all, her trial when they got the big giant thing, hilarious.
Yeah, the faces. Yeah, that was absolutely wild. I don't know. My favorite part.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say my favorite part with her is in the finale when Agatha's like calling her by her last name, being like, "You're like a vegetable" or whatever.
No, but I love that she was so so Lily is telling her these things, and like,
yeah,
you could dismiss Lily as being like out of her mind, because a little bit she sounded like she was, but she's like, no, like tell me the things so that like when you switch again, I can catch you up. So she's super supportive in that way. And then when she gets her powers back, when they're in that room, and she gets her power back, and she just like she realizes it's Agatha. She does the unbinding, and she like has that like breakdown because she finally has her power back. Like, well done, Sashir Zamato.
Yeah, she was really good. I think I guess one part that I didn't go more in depth into was the man that like tried to drown her, and but I assume that's just someone that like that because she
So
was
that was one of the things that like we were questioning, but the one who actually like, how did this like random doctor bind her? Like, how was that possible? Because as we find out, he paid Agatha, and Agatha did it. Like,
yeah.
And so like he's actually kind of a nobody, and like he just wanted this witch to be bound.
Yeah.
And Agatha agreed to do it. So like we didn't get a ton more about him, but like the point was that it wasn't him. You know what I mean?
Right. It was Agatha. So right.
But yeah, I like her. I will be happy to see her again if we do. If we don't, well done with what time you did have.
Yeah, very true. I definitely am excited to talk about Aubrey Plaza's Rio. So just everything about her. And so the funny part is, so I was watching the episode 8 with 9 with my parents, and we're watching episode 8. And my dad's like, that looks like Pirate Sarah. and I said, yeah, that would be Sarah, but would
be Sarah.
She would only try to kill Kevin. So
no, but she was so good. So I know that there was a leak, right? So there was a pop character leak.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I purposely avoided it. I did not see it, but I had figured out through watching it, and maybe because I knew that there was like something else to her character, but from watching it, I was like, oh, she's deaf. Like I had figured that out. And then I saw something else where they like accidentally said it, and I was like, yes, I was right. But then the reveal when she came out and you saw her skull.
Yes.
So good.
And that was practical as well. That's actually like just a mask that Aubrey Plaza was wearing. So
yes. And like, because like when they're using the Ouija board and like, who is here with us, and it spells out death, and she just cackles, right?
Yes,
and like
yes,
she came up from the ground where Sharon was buried.
Yes,
right? Like there were little things that I was like, that's death. Like So when that was confirmed, I was like, yes. But then to see it,
yeah. And then, I mean, even the part where they're like, are you a Green Witch? And she's like, no, I'm the Green Witch, and like, in a very dark voice. And it's like, it's very clear that you're very sinister.
But like, also, she's very clearly Death, who is like not a good guy, but she also is not a bad, like she sees the like circle of life as being a good thing, and like maintaining it is therefore a good thing.
Yeah.
So like she's definitely not a hero, but and like I don't love death, but like they made her character someone who was like interesting and complex, and not just death for the sake of being death.
Yeah.
And she makes the deal with Agatha. She's, all I can give you is time. And then she comes in the middle of the night and takes Nicholas.
That was sad. I messaged the Tribe of Nerds chat, and I was like, this Agatha finale is depressing.
Heartbreaking. And Agatha wakes up and he's just gone. And he stops to kiss her.
Yeah. Well, and it's his soul leaving her body, or leaving his body, so she still has his body there.
Right. And you saw during the episode a few times, like he was coughing, like you knew something was wrong. Because we knew he wasn't going to live. We knew he was going to die. And then when she took Alice,
yes, and she's like,
it wasn't even a long scene, but for her to just be like, no, it's time to go. And she's like, that's all the time I get. And she's like, yeah. What more do you?
That was
what
sad.
More is there?
That was
and
very
then
sad.
When she's like, that's all I did. She's like, you were a protection witch and you died protecting someone. Like she doesn't say it in like she says it in like a matter of fact sort of way, not in a cold, uncaring sort of way. She's like, no, you, like, I don't understand what you don't understand. So like, obviously the thing that she doesn't understand is she doesn't want to be dead. But like Aubrey Plaza's character, Rio, is like, this is just the way that it is. Like, you did good. Yeah. You did a great job. Now it's time to go. Like, next. So, I don't know. She's super interesting. Definitely, like, Death is a bad guy. But super interesting. Yeah. I love what they did with it.
Yeah. It was very, very good. I enjoyed everything with Aubrey Plaza on this show. So I
love Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
She's great.
I mean, she was great in Parks and Rec, and really anything you see Aubrey Plaza, and I feel like she's really good.
And the callback when she calls you a coward, hit the deck.
Yes. That line.
Called her a coward, and Agatha hit the deck. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's what I need more of in these shows and everything, is these callbacks to even earlier in the show. That's just,
it was the previous episode, but like we were waiting for it, and there was a payoff. Like,
yeah,
thank you.
Proper storytelling, proper writing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a lot of what happened in the show. I mean, is there anything else we haven't talked about yet that you want to?
I think the only other thing to me is that this was such a great example of how to do representation in media, right? Like, so often, especially in Marvel, they've been like, "Ooh, you're gonna get the first gay kiss," and it's like it's an eternal and a human, like nobody cares, like, and it's like it's hyped up to be a thing, and it's not a thing, and you're like, what? Like, what is this? What are you doing? You're just making the actors have an awkward kiss for a minute, right? Or like, what's her name? America Chavez. America Chavez is like the first lesbian, and she has like a little pride pin. Like what are you doing, right? Like, it's been so awkward. Yeah. And like, these are just characters who are like not here to make a statement. They're here to be the characters in the media they're in, right? Like Wiccan, Billy, Teen, whatever his name was at the time, like, he's like, him being gay is just like part of, like, that's just a background thing. Like, the main thing is what he's doing, and it's just like, it's just a thing that happens throughout the story. And like Rio and Agatha, that tension was so well done. And same thing, like, they're just characters who have a relationship, and like they're not making a show of like, oh, and it's two girls, what do you think about that? It's it is.
It just happens. Yeah.
Like, so well done. So like other writers who want to have like representation and inclusion, like talk to Jack Schaefer, because this is how you do it.
Well, and even when like Agatha and Rio finally kiss in episode 8, it's Agatha getting the kiss of death, which is great writing. Great writing.
Yes.
Yeah. A couple other things that I just remembered. So episode 6, I mean, Billy's whole backstory, again, representation for the Jewish community, and then just everything and the gay community as well. So like a lot of representation in there. So that was really good storytelling there too. And that's really like we get the seeds of like the sigil and everything. So we kind of see that. And then the other thing that I thought was really fun was when Rio is like walking away and she just cuts through like the scenery in the background and exits out, and it's because it's a practical set. She's just literally cutting through like the background of the show of the stage. So it's like so good.
Yes, that was like that was another thing that was better than it had any business being. Like we're also, I think at this point with Disney Marvel shows so used to the volume, right? Like that big giant room where like they're always standing in the middle and like you can kind of see the edges of where they can't walk to anymore. And like we're so used to that. So like for her to like walk up to a physical thing, cut it open and walk through it, like even if like you didn't appreciate like her breaking the set, like breaking the fourth wall, like you have to appreciate them using like an actual set with a physical barrier and not just like this projection. So I love that too.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's all I have. You have anything else, Kevin?
It's just so good. If you haven't watched it, you need to go watch it. I want to just stress, I thought this was going to be stupid.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be stupid, and it turned out to be so good. So much better than it had any business being. You need to watch it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you did watch it again. It's so good.
Yeah, I think I guess if we're gonna give a letter grade, I'm gonna give this probably a B. It's not my favorite Marvel Disney Plus show, but it is in my top 5, like I've said, and it is really good. I just have a couple that I would prefer, and I felt like, a couple gripes with some things in the finale, but not enough to like.
I would say, I mean, just for me, I think it stuck the landing better than WandaVision did. I think WandaVision was great, and like the idea of like exploring grief, right? Like so good, so good. But I think they messed some things up in the finale that I don't think this show messed up.
Right.
So I'm torn about WandaVision. The first season of Loki had a lot of slow points.
Yeah.
So I'd put this above season 1 of Loki. Season 2 of Loki is really good though, which also has some nonlinear storytelling. So maybe Loki season 2, like Captain Winter Falcon Soldier, like that was fine. That wasn't bad, but I would not say that was better than this.
Yeah, I kind of have grown mine on that because I didn't like certain things in that, but then as I've rewatched it or like other shows have come out, then I've gotten more positive on Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there's stuff that the John Walker stuff was really intriguing. Sam and Bucky's storylines, Zemo was fantastic in that show. Isaiah Bradley, that stuff was really good. So
there is a lot of really good in
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I keep, because he is Captain America now.
Yeah, he is Captain America now.
They do call it Captain America and the Winter Soldier at the end, so it keeps messing me up. But Falcon and Winter Soldier is good. I liked it, but like, I like this type of storytelling so much more. So yeah, it would go above that. And then like the rest of the Disney,
I like Hawkeye. I'm higher on Hawkeye than other people probably. I
liked Hawkeye. Again, I liked Hawkeye. Kate Bishop is such a great character.
Yes.
Put her in more things. Whatever the contracting is like, put her in more things. She's great. But like that show is, again, it's a good show. Like it's good. I will probably watch it as we get closer to Christmas because it's very Christmassy.
Yeah.
But like this was I mean, it was just so good. It was so good. Way better than Ms. Marvel. She-Hulk isn't even in the conversation.
Nope. Secret Invasion is like
we're
in
not
the
talking about
trash.
that. Secret Invasion didn't happen.
That
happened in another MCU. That didn't happen in the main MCU. That happened somewhere else.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige's feeling the same way. So
yeah, we're just gonna ignore that one. Moon Knight was another Moon Knight.
Carried by Oscar Isaac, I think.
Oscar Isaac had some really good because that was 6 episodes. So
things were crushed.
At the end of episode 4, finally starts to be something it starts off really good. Then there's 3 episodes of what, and then the very end of season 4 or episode 4 was oh, okay, and then it's a completely different show for 2 episodes.
Yeah,
which is interesting, but rushed show.
Yeah,
it's that's out of the conversation. So the only thing that I would possibly put above this would be Loki season 2 and WandaVision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. So, but again, top 5 still great. This would I'd put the top 5 above every other the other 6 shows so far. So, but yeah, that is Agatha All Along. Go check it out. Last things, you definitely need to subscribe to Tribe of Nerds and Reality After Show so you do not miss anything.
Subscribe, comment, share.
Yeah, we got a month left before we have our celebration together. So this is crazy that time flies by very quickly.
Yes.
And so we have that. The next few weeks leading up to that, we're doing some classic movies. So next 3 weeks we'll be doing the Cornetto trilogy. Maybe cult classic is a better term.
Right, I'm classic. This is just movies Jake likes, but okay. We've done the movies Sarah likes. We've done the movies I like. We can do Jake's movies.
So the Cornetto trilogy, which is a bunch of British comedies with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost and some other Bill Nighy's in 2 of them.
I love Bill Nighy.
Yeah, there's a couple other famous British actors in these movies, but
wait, are you talking about a Bill Nighy who isn't the science guy?
No, I'm talking about Davy Jones.
Oh, that one. I heard Bill Nighy. Yeah. Sorry, teacher.
No, I was trying to. That's why I'm trying to distinguish between them. I'm probably
Davy Jones, Bill Nighy. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. So there's some good Timothy Dalton's in one of them. So one of the James Bonds. So so yeah, it's so basically they're parodies of movies. They're directed by Edgar Wright, who was supposed to direct Ant-Man, and he's done a bunch of and Scott Pilgrim and this kind of thing.
I think I saw Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, so Shaun of the Dead is zombie apocalypse parody. Hot Fuzz is on buddy cop comedies. And then The World's End is these friends get really drunk and go have this road trip kind of thing, but it turns into a sci-fi adventure. So
I love sci-fi. I'm into it.
Yeah. So while they're drunk. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Drunken sci-fi. I'm in.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to kind of go through one movie at a time in this trilogy, and then the last week before our meetup we do the first 2 Home Alone movies. So yeah. So that'll be fun. Movies that I grew up watching. I did not see them in the theater because I was not born.
I did.
So, but with that, that's it for our Agatha All Along podcast. So we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.
Bye. Fuck you, Sarah.